Well, a big news hit just a few moments ago that the student loan forgiveness is not happening. It is official now. The Supreme Court officially struck down Biden's student loan debt relief plan that would have forgiven up to $20,000 for federal student loan borrowers. And Rachel and I put an Instagram story out, just kind of sharing the news and giving people some next steps.
In a meeting, and the texts were coming in that the Supreme Court had ruled this, and it was like, oh my gosh, because we've been talking about this for 18 months.
It feels like 7 years
from the moment it was announced.
A long time. And if you've been listening to the show, you know that our number one thing for you guys is that we want you debt free. We want you out of debt. So we're like, listen, if this passes and you take advantage of it, go. That's great. If you have a moral conviction against it, then don't. But it's not passed yet. Don't wait on someone else, to make decisions, aka Washington, to fix your life. So continue to pay it on because there was no interest right now. There was a pause on interest. So you could be paying down the principal, all this, right? So this is in our head. So George and I'm like, George, oh my gosh, they shut it down. Like, it's not happening. Let's jump on the social because that's where people are to, just give the announcement, talk about it. Apparently we were too happy about it, is what people were saying. They said we were too gleeful. And so then we had to do another video to be like, y'all, it's not that we're like wanting people to suffer. We just always knew this was the case. So all that to say, there is a lot of emotion around this, which we understand because also, you guys, we hate student loans. We hate this whole industry. It is predatory. People, these 18-year-olds sign their lives away and they had no clue what they're doing. The adults in their lives, whether ignorant or believe something else, usher them into this. Like, the whole thing is frustrating. So we are against this whole industry. So we're not for it. So we want you out of it. But we also know that you're the one that's going to have to change your life. And sitting and waiting around on any program or any one person to do that, you're not going to get the change that you want.
Great way to put that, Rachel. The big thing for us is we're not glad because people aren't getting help. We're glad that the will they, won't they game is over and that you're not being lied to anymore and that you don't have this false hope and that you're in control now. You can actually do something about this instead of waiting on a politician. And Ken, you were on Fox News earlier today talking about this very issue.
Yeah, and I think you just hit on the real problem with this. Understandably, whether you agree with us on debt and loans and you're just kind of checking the show out or you saw their post and you were offended, let me just say that I'm angry for you because if you believed, and a lot of you did, millions of you believed that this was possible, that's not fair to you. Mm-hmm. This is an emotionally charged issue because on the other side of it, as I mentioned on Fox News today, there were millions of Americans, I'm one of them, who did take out student loans and did pay them off. My wife too, who has a master's in broadcasting. And so this was an emotionally charged issue from the get-go.
From all sides.
From all sides. And I think it's important to point that out. And I appreciate you guys saying this. I'll be honest with you. It bothers me that you guys, and the reason you feel the need to address this because you're both really nice, sweet people. I'll be honest, nicer and sweeter than me. Because the reality is that what we have said for 18 months or however long it was is that, folks, we didn't think this was going to ever take place because of the constitutionality of it. We didn't file the lawsuit. Multiple states did. You had private student loan firms that were going to file lawsuits. So here's where we stand. We can help you get rid of this debt.
Yeah.
But you signed up for this. You did.
Yeah.
And so there's a responsibility. And to Rachel's point, I know it's bone crushing today. And I guess my point is I want to throw some empathy out to say, we get it because you are struggling and it hurts today. And come August, there's going to be a lot of people hurting when these loan payments start back up. So here's the point we want to make to you. We believe in you. We have a process called the baby steps that have worked for millions of Americans. And regardless of who's president and who's in Congress and who's in charge, we don't want you to fall for this stuff anymore. We want you to get serious about getting free from debt. And that's what I want to encourage those people that are hurting today.
Yes. And it
I hate that.
Begs to the point too, you guys, that there's like paying for a system, even like debt consolidation, like all these like things in the financial industry that feel like shortcuts. It's always going to backfire. Like there's a point that like things are going to backfire. And y'all were saying earlier, it may have been you, George, in our meeting as we were talking about this, that actually people during this waiting period of 18 months, student loan, they were getting money back now that they're going to have to pay again.
Yes.
Like they're going to have to pay back. It's
That's
like
correct.
Student loan
Like,
companies
it's-
were saying, hey, we'll refund you now.
We'll refund you.
Here's your 10 grand back. We're going to reinstate your loan balance, and good luck with the government forgiving this.
That's a punch in the gut.
So
and
now
the
those
face.
people, like it's just like it's all of that stuff, you guys. So it's so entangled. And as we sit on this side of the desk trying to help give hope and empowerment to people, when we see this narrative play, and again, regardless of party, like Republicans do this, Democrat, like we see this stuff, and it's so hard because we also know, as we sit on the side of the desk, that we have people that stand on the debt-free stage that do debt-free screams. They've worked hard, they've sacrificed, and they've done it. So we know that you can do this. And so the fact that we're not going to be talking about this anymore in that sense of like this waiting game, I'm going to wait and see it. No, now you can put action to your life, and that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many calls we've taken in the last year or two, just people going, should I do this? Because what if they forgive it? And I'm going, you're putting your life on hold and putting your faith in a politician. When in history has that ever been a good idea?
Yeah. And George, I remember when they first even announced this 18 months ago, I think we were on the air because it was a day or two after we had people, a friend like that we both know, kind of get mad at us. They're like, why would you tell people to keep paying on their student loans? Like they were, because we're like, because it's probably not going to happen. They're like, are you kidding us? Like it was a disagreement there. And we're just like, oh my gosh, no, keep paying because there's no interest right now. And you could be putting down the principal. Like it just mathematically makes sense. So
Let me
all that
also
to say,
just point out
it's over.
that we are here for you, for those of you that are wanting to move forward in your education and you think the only way is student loan debt. I can promise you it's not. We're here for you on that.
Yes.
Some of you are going, wait a second, what do? I don't want to get stuck in this deal. And so that's the point we want to make today is that no matter what you're feeling on either side of this, you can live life debt-free. That's all we're trying to tell you. Give us a chance to walk you and talk you through it. That's what we want people to hear today because I can't point out enough how many people are devastated emotionally today.
Yeah.
Devastated over this decision.
But now it's, what are we going to do next? Because
Yep.
we can only wallow for so long. And so your payments are restarting in October. Interest starts in September. We've got to make a plan. We've got to get on a budget. We've got to pay this debt off. And we are here to help you because we believe you're the hero, not the government.
Yes.
That's how it's been for 30 years, and that is not changing. And, I'll run on that campaign promise, Ken.
I'll vote for you, pal.
Thank you.
I'll vote for you.
Somebody
Rachel.
give me a ballot. I'll write your name in.
Thanks for hanging out, Rachel. Fun
Thanks,
having
guys,
you.
for having me.
Thanks, Rachel.
This is The Ramsey Show.